winning, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Nick family. Rough morning. I'm on location, trying to go live with my mobile setup. Let me know what the visuals are like. Let me know what the lighting is like. Let me know what the audio is like. I don't know if anyone is used to working on Windows and then you try to switch to Mac. The learning curve is tremendous. But anyway, I'm here. The Knicks won a tough game, a game in which they made a lot of mistakes down the stretch, but they pulled it out anyway. They won the first of 4 games they're going to play against the Miami Heat this season. Miami Heat is in 6th place currently in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks are in the 7th place. So this was an important game. The Knicks went into this game without Mitchell Robinson. Let's not forget about Mitch, right? And also without Jalen Brunson. He warmed up and apparently he wasn't able to go. A non-COVID illness. He did not play. So the Knicks were down 2. And they won this game 106-104. Let's get into it. And of course, I'll check in with the chat. I really appreciate you guys. I try to be on time because I don't like wasting people's time. So I apologize for being late. All right, the Knicks came into this game 28-25 on the season. 3 games over 500. I think if somebody said, listen, 50 some odd games in, the Knicks are going to be 3 games over 500. Would you take it? I think we would say yes, right? 7th in the Eastern Conference, just 4-6 over their last 10. They won 1. Miami 29-23, 6th in the Eastern Conference. And they won 7 of their last 10 games, including the last one coming into the game, if I'm not mistaken. Jalen Brunson was out, quickly started. It was quickly Grimes, Barrett, Randle, Sims, Mitchell Robinson, of course, out. They have been dealing with some injuries throughout the season, but their starting 5 was back. Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Duncan Robinson was out, but also Oladipo was out. I don't even think Duncan Robinson is in their rotation, but Oladipo is, and he was out last game. The Knicks, I'm not going to talk about every Knicks player like I usually do, but I'll talk about some of the more important ones. And of course, I'll check in with you guys in the chat. If there's anybody you want to talk about, just drop it in the chat. We'll talk about them statistically and overall as well. Barrett, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 56.5% from the field. RJ Barrett bounced back, and I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. He was super aggressive, and he said in the press conference that that's what he wanted to be. He didn't feel like he was being aggressive over the past few games or few weeks. Last night he was. 30 points again, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shot very well from the field. Now, he didn't shoot that well from the 3-point line. But as far as slicing to the basket, he was on point. Now, keep in mind, Miami is number 1, ranked number 1 in the entire NBA in defending the paint. It made no difference to RJ Barrett. He sliced through that defense like a warm knife through soft butter. I mean, really. And he finished at the rim. RJ Barrett was on point last night. Now, did he make a few boneheaded plays, a few head-scratching plays? Yes, he did. But I've come to this conclusion with both RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. It's going to happen once or twice a game. As good as these guys can be in a game, there's 1 or 2 plays that just leaves you like, what was that? You know, like an egregious play. You're going to get one or two from those games, but from those guys. But overall, I think that's how you're going to have to look at it. Overall, how was the game? And I thought for RJ Barrett, despite the poor three-point shooting, I thought at least offensively, he was on point last night. Randle, shout out to Randle. We'll talk about him later, making the All-Star team for the second time in his career, both times as a New York Knicks. Nick, Randle, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. Didn't shoot well, 42.1% from the field. I thought Randle played well also. You know, there was, you know, he struggles at times. At times, he struggles in the double team, passing out of the double team. And I know we asked, like, why does he wait? Like, why are you waiting for the double team? I think that's his thing. He wants to wait for the double team to come. That way, somebody is wide open and he tries to identify that player and make the pass. And it works a lot of the times, but sometimes, depending on how aggressive that trap is, even if you can identify the guy, you're not going to be able to get it to him. And I think that's what he does. He's trying to wait for the trap to fully commit so that that guy can have a wide open pass. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. He had a few turnovers out of the double team, but let's not forget that fourth quarter when he waited for the double team and he hit McBride, who finally hit a three, hit, I believe, 2 or 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And then also Grimes, who was extremely consistent last night. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I just think we have to look at it overall because that's his MO, so to speak. When it does happen, we're like, here we go again. He turns it over every single time. But it's not every single time. It just looks that way. I thought Randle played okay last night. Grimes, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, shot 66.7% from the field. This is what a starting shooting guard looks like. And this is what they do consistently. You know, I think Grimes is on his way. It's going to take a little bit of time for him to get there where you get these types of games consistently. But we got a glimpse of what it looks like, right? Not only he mixed it up, not only did he shoot the three, he drove to the lane, he passed some, he finished some. His defense was good. I thought Grimes was good last night. He had some timely buckets for us also. Hartenstein, I'm telling you, these past 4 or 5 games, Hartenstein has really, really, really been coming along. Looking spry. 8 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, none more crucial than in that final, 25 seconds left in the game? That steal, that anticipation for somebody his size to get his hands on it, okay, that was pretty much his length, but then also to track it down. I thought iHeart has been playing extremely well, which is why I know we need bench help. But with IQ on that second unit and iHeart coming alive, you know, if the Knicks don't force it, they can find help, fine. But if not, I'm okay right now. The Knicks shot 48.2% from the field, 33.3% from the three-point line. Not great, 12 of 36, 77.8% from the free throw line. Adebayo made the All-Star team over Jimmy Butler. And for those who was questioning why, he showed you 32 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 68.8%. There was nothing we could do with Bam Bam. Absolutely nothing. And just to see him operating, you know, right below the free throw line, putting the ball between his legs, to leaning back a little, the jumper with the feathery touch, it was all on display last night. Hero, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, shot 45.5% from the field. He went on a mini 9-0 run himself in that game. Strauss came off the bench, lighting it up, 17 points, 5 3-pointers. He shot 55.6% from the field. And Butler, not his best game, right? 10 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, shot 38.5% from the field. He was on RJ Barrett, he might have been on RJ Barrett as well, but he was on Julius Randle at times, and he couldn't really do anything with Julius Randle. as most players can't. I think sometimes, you know, Randle just kind of bails them out by not being as assertive as he can. I don't believe there's anybody that can really guard Julius Randle. They shot 44.8% from the field, 36.1% from the three-point line, and 81.3% from the free throw line. Let me just see before I get to the chat. Is there anybody else I want to shout out? Sims played 20 minutes. iHeart played 30. Again, it's going to go back and forth depending on the matchups, even though I think Jericho Sims would have been a better matchup on Bam. But I think with Sims, you're only getting the defense. You're not getting anything else. So that might have been what went into that decision. Oh, I want to talk about 48, 18 minutes, 5 points. Was that him? 5 points, 4 assists, 1 steal. Did not shoot well, 1 of 6. 16.7%. I'm not going to get on him too much. He was pressed into action last night, and I get it. You were professional. You're supposed to stay ready. But defensively, I thought there were some defensive possessions in which he was on point, and other defensive possessions, not so much. I still don't think he's as bad a defender as we make him out to be. And I don't think he's as bad as a few other players that are actually in the rotation. Obi Toppin, 7 points. Shout out to the bench. Emmanuel Quickly started last night, and he did a good job. Emmanuel Quickly had 8 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. He didn't force anything. He played within the flow of the game, in my opinion. That's been Quickly as of late. He took 8 shots. He only made 3. Wasn't his greatest shooter night, but I didn't think he forced anything. But Obi Toppin had 7 points and 2 rebounds. Miles McBride hit his shots last night. He was 2 for 2 from the 3-point line. I really felt like the Knicks overall played with urgency, particularly the bench. They didn't do that great in that second quarter, but in that fourth quarter, they were great. I mean, they pushed the lead, if I remember correctly. So I think the bench had 29 points, I believe. But anyway, let me get to the chat. I'll get back to the team stats. Jeff Clafter, the deuce was loose. Those were some big. And when Randle threw the ball to him off of one of those double teams, I was like, yo, what are you doing? Recognition. He hit it down, and if you want to say, for those of you who believe in the right play, you just pass it to the open person, no matter who they are, then you would be happy with that decision. JJ, Deuce and Obi hit timely shot. I'm all for timely shots. We need every point we can get. But there are some moments in the game where we just need a bucket right then and there. Grimes, McBride, Obi. Really. I know. Yeah. I'm not at home, JJ. I'm not at home. Yeah, I know. Jimmy Butler looks like he wants out of Miami. He was bored. That maybe wasn't a good night. I haven't been following him, so the Miami Heat. So I'm not too sure about that. Cover the spread. Appreciate you. iHeart starting to come alive. A lot of missed lays, but he's playing better. He absolutely is. Bam is the star of their team. Yeah. It's me. Yeah. Shout out Kerry Cox. Appreciate you. It's me. Yeah. Shout out to iHeart. He's peeping his head out of the doghouse, giving effort. But more than effort, I think he was always an effort guy. Throwing his body all around, falling on the floor, tapping the ball out. But and rebounding pretty well. But now we getting some block shots, though that wasn't tonight. We got 3, I think it was 2 or 3 steals out of iHeart for his size. That's significant. Yeah. Cover the spread also said, like how this team is developing and we looking good for the next years. Yeah, we definitely are. And JJ feels that Lowry is super washed. Wow. Wasn't his best game either. He is getting up there in age. I think the older a player gets, the less you have to expect from them. But he did hit a big 3-pointer for him as well. It's me. I like the ball movement yesterday, besides our fourth quarter goofy. Yes, yes. I thought the Knicks did move the ball well last night. I know some people want to attribute that to um, Brunson not playing, but I've seen the Knicks move the ball with Brunson as well. It can happen. I think the other point to make as far as ball movement is when you don't have players that can create their own shot, it is going to move a little more. Because what are they going to do with it? If they don't have an open shot, they have to pass it because they can't really create their own shot, right? I'm all for ball movement. I'm just not for an equal opportunity offense. Move the ball, but at the end of the night, in my opinion, your best players have to have taken most of the shots. You don't need to hog it. You don't need to take every shot. Move it, get the ball on the move. That way you get an easier shot, make that defense work. But at the end of the night, when you look at that stat sheet, your best players should have taken most of the shots that night. All right. Team stats, I think what sticks out for me is that the Knicks turned the ball over 17 times, which is not Knick-like. However, Miami only got, I think it was 10 points or 11 points off of those turnovers, which is huge because the Knicks can give up 10 points, have only 10 turnovers and give up 26 points off of those turnovers, right? Last night, they turned the ball over a lot, but Miami did not get a lot of points off of those turnovers. Conversely, Miami only turned the ball over 10 times, but New York got 21 points, I believe it was, off of those turnovers. The other thing I want to point out is points in the paint, 52 to 36, right? So the Knicks had more points in the paint. Think about it. You had the number one team in Miami in defending the paint. And you had, I don't know if the Knicks are number one, but they're in the tops in the league in terms of scoring in the paint. They squared off, and the Knicks still came out victorious in the game also, but also in that stat, 52 points in the paint. There was absolutely nothing they could do with R.J. Barrett last night. And bench points, 28 bench points in a game like this. The score was what, 106 to 104 or something like that. This was, wasn't a high scoring game in today's NBA anyway. Quickly was in, who scores the most off of our bench. He's in the starting lineup. What's going to happen with the bench? Miami comes in with one of the top 5 defenses, I believe. Who's going to score for us in that bench? How are we going to get bench support? They showed up huge for us. Those 28 bench points did not include Emmanuel Quickly. And you could see that, especially in the fourth quarter. The urgency in that bench, the urgency in the entire team. I thought they played with much more energy last night. They might have over-rotated a few times, but they were getting their hands in, getting deflections, super active. The Knicks were last night. But that bench in the fourth quarter, they were also, you could tell the urgency they had coming into the game. I don't know if it was the fourth quarter or the second quarter where Barrett kind of, brought them together and was like, I don't know what he said to them, but hopefully it was, we need to play well. And they did. And kudos to McBride, actually. All right, let me check in with the chat before I go to the next. Stout shot really well last night. Who's Stout? RJ was why we were so good in the paint. Absolutely, Nick. Yeah, absolutely. King Ribby RM, don't speak on RJ, at Shy Gunner watching. Yeah. We didn't talk the last recap show about RJ Barrett skipping the presser. I don't know if he skipped it or he just said he didn't. Yeah, basically, he didn't want to speak. I don't know if it was the press conference or someone asked him a question. He didn't want to speak. For me, it wasn't that big a deal. It happens. A player gets frustrated. That particular night, they don't want to speak to the media. It really wasn't a big deal for me. I just want to watch RJ Barrett. I just want to watch him just to see how he deals with the pressure of New York, how he deals with perhaps not having the season he wanted to have, perhaps not having the role he wanted to have. How professional, how much of a leader is he then now, right? That was the big take last season. Oh, look at RJ Barrett. He's more of a leader than Randle. He shows up at the press conference no matter what. That's easy to do when you don't have any heat on you. That's easy to do when there isn't any controversy, right? It's easy to show up, right? Now, he might not be happy with his role. Maybe he's not getting the ball as much. Maybe he himself had higher expectations. It's not happening. So I'm not making a big deal out of him missing or not wanting to speak. I'm just keeping my eye on it. It's a tough place, especially when you're somebody like, now the fans haven't turned on him. You know, the fans turn on him. We'll see how he handles that. But a little bit of, as Freezy like to call him, the golden child, wasn't his, just put it this way, he wasn't his best self after last game. It's me. I love how he responded tonight as well. No doubt about it. And I thought as much. I thought as much, because you could sit here and talk about, why I don't know if this is what RJ is thinking, but you can say, why did he bench me? Look at so-and-so do the same thing. Like, you could be victim focused, problem focused, or you could be solution focused. Okay, I didn't close that game. Why didn't I close that game? What do I have to do to make sure I close every single game? Because think about it. We talked about this. Brunson is going to close. Randle is going to close. One of those centers is going to close, whether that's Mitch, Sim, when he's back, Sim, one of them are going to close. RJ has competition to close, right? Him, Quickly, Grimes. Two of those three are going to close. It's not automatic for RJ Barrett. It's not the best defensive player. So you got Grimes and you got IQ, two very good perimeter defenders, though they do give up size, right? So I think that's going to be a choice for Thibodeau every game. Which two of those three do I close with? Paris Duggar, RJ played like he had something to prove, which he should do all of the time because he's flawed and have to play extra hard to offset his flaw. Listen, everybody on the Knicks is flawed. Bottom line. Everybody on this Knicks team have both positives and negatives. So if that's the case, this entire team should be playing like they're on fire because they all have flaws. Cover the Spread said, Paris, can you give RJ his flowers just one day, right? Oh, he did this, he did great. But hey, he's a flawed player. I mean, they all are, in my opinion. And listen, this is a flawed team. So I've come to this conclusion about the New York Knicks. They play well enough to beat anybody in the NBA. When they're on point, they can beat any team in the NBA. And they usually beat the teams they're supposed to beat. The Knicks usually beat the team. So I'm not going to say they can lose to anybody. I don't think it's been like that. Like, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But it's just some games they just don't play their best. They're inconsistent, put it that way. Is that the age? They're a very young team age-wise. Is it because they haven't played together that long? It could be that, as well. Building blocks, was Duncan Robinson injured or just unplayable? I know last season they took him out of the starting lineup. He was still playing some. I don't think he's in the rotation this season. Expectations from Knicks fans are crazy. Jerry Chichester. I hope I got that right. I appreciate you if this is your first time. Welcome. Grimes locked up Butler last night. Grimes was good on both sides of the ball. Just a peek. I know he's not there yet in terms of expecting it every night, but just a peek. And if you watch the last recap show, IQ and Grimes, in my opinion, are reasonably untouchable. I'm only trading them for a star. I'm not putting them in any other package. Let me see. before I move on, if there's anybody else. Cover the spread. RJ was 13 of 18 from 2-point line. Exactly. Thank you, cover the spread. Didn't shoot well from a 3-point line, but from 2-point line. And why was that? Because he was driving to the basket and not just driving, finishing. And finishing some tough ones. Kerry Cox, RJ needs to stick to that mid-range shot and that drive with the head fake he needs to stick with it. I agree with you, Kerry Cox, but he needs to make it. Sometimes he just doesn't. Shout out to Jay Boogie. Appreciate you as always. Hello Friday to my entire chat family. Blessings, health, happiness to you all. Wishing nothing but the best for the people who are the best. And that's to you all. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. I appreciate you. RJ, yep. Different 7 turnovers. Miami had 5 more shots, kept Miami in the game. Yeah, they didn't capitalize off of them that much. Shout out to Jerrell that's in the chat. All right. We on tonight, 9 p.m., the Just Nick and His show. We couldn't do it last night. Julius Randle. I know those who don't like Randle are hot smoking this morning. But for the rest of us, respect. Julius Randle is a 2-time All-Star. Both of his All-Star appearances was as a New York Knick. There's something to be said for that. The coaches, now the starters was split, right, between the fans, media, players. But for the reserves, that was all coaching votes. He has the respect of the coaches. And this is why I think that, and no disrespect to Brunson. Listen, when I saw Drew Holiday, and he deserved it, I saw DeMar DeRozan, and he deserved it as well. I knew only one Knick was getting in. I knew only one Knick was getting in then. And we could sit here and we could talk about Brunson. I think Brunson does deserve to be in the All-Star game, but everybody can't make it. Trae Young didn't make it. Harden didn't make it. You can argue that Philly should have got 2. Right? They didn't make it. So salute to Julius, to Julius Randle. We give him a lot of heat, a lot of smoke. This is somebody who multiple times has come back from, he need to work on this. He'll never be this. Come back the next season, he's fixed that. Last season, his emotionality. He talked about that. He said, Johnny Bryant said to him, what would that look like, if it was the other way around, and you were looking, basically paraphrasing, at a veteran, acting like that. Would you respect that? And he said he hadn't picked up a ball within a month and a half, 2 months when Johnny Bryant spoke to him. He was a little down on himself as well. But Julius Randle always comes back. And I have to tell you, I don't think he's reached his ceiling. I think listen, this is a new role for him, being in this particular spot. And we can argue that he shouldn't be, but that's on the front office. If the front office doesn't think that he should be the number 1 on the chip, then get a number 1. You think he should be a number 2 or number 3? Bring in 2 players better than him. But until then, it's Julius Randle, and in my opinion, Jalen Brunson. Those 2 are neck and neck. I always give the edge to Brunson because he's more clutch, but neck and neck, right? The coaches voted for him. Why is that? Because he's at the top of their board when they are game planning for the New York Knicks. He's at the top of their board. And if he's not, he's right there with Brunson, because they game plan against Brunson too. You got to double team him. You got to bring length. You got to do that. So Brunson is up there as well. But he got chosen. And I have nothing but respect for Julius Randle. But I'll call him out when he doesn't play well, when he turns the ball over, when he does something boneheaded. But his overall body of work as a New York Knick, I don't understand how you can't respect that. I don't understand how you could just look at how he turns the ball over, and he does turn the ball over at times when he's double teamed, and ignore everything else. Where's this team right now without Julius Randle? And I'm not even talking about this year. I'm talking about years to come when the Knicks are going to try to build on this. What are you building on without Julius Randle? Not much. That turnaround from last season when we were talking about how he's not built for New York, how he'll never be able to win the fans back, how the Knicks might as well trade him because mentally he can't handle it. And he comes back the next year and has an all-star season in this loaded Eastern Conference, which is full of talent. Respect. Nothing but respect for that man, Mr. Julius Randle. All right. Let's see what the chat is saying. I know there's some people that ain't trying to give no props to Julius Randle, or they want to give backhanded props to him. But all right. Let's see what the fans are saying. Almighty Finesse already talking about how he'll dissipate. We ain't talking about the playoffs, Almighty Finesse. We're talking about right here, right now. Right here, right now. All right. Our communities, our children, OCOC, I appreciate you. Knicks fans are hilarious. They hate the whole team. You know what? If you look on Twitter, you would think that you're right. We don't like our team. I didn't mean to put that up. They'll say something like, well, let's see what they do next game. Oh, they going to the playoffs. This team ain't nothing. Your own team. Like, we could easily be like, yo, I wasn't expecting this. This is so exciting. Look at, not here. Will Sarkin, appreciate you. Thrill for Jules. JB may still join if someone gets injured, and someone usually does. Yeah, I don't think Durant is going to play. But will they give the Knicks 2, or will they go with Trae Young out of Atlanta? Will they go with James Harden out of Philly and give Philly 2? Philly has been on a tear as of late, right? So they may, it may go to them, but I think he deserves it. Nick, all of the Knicks All-Stars got respect, but not this one. Now trying to run out RJ, right? Kerry Cox, 100%, Steph. Brahim, I hope I got that right. Not mad at the Brunson snub. It's hard to give a 7th place team 2 All-Stars. I agree. But were you surprised that it was Randle over Brunson? Jerrell, Randle definitely deserves it. Shout out to Jerrell. He ain't the biggest Randle fan. But respect where respect is due. There's some players on this team I'm not big fans of, but respect where respect, is due. Salute RC Creative. Let's see. Marcus Miller. Randle ain't perfect, but he's one. I think he's saying of our best players, got to crawl before you walk. Absolutely. Kerry Cox, we talked about that. Jay Boogie, I don't need us to beat any team. I need us to beat that same team in a series 4 times. Yeah, we shall see. The coolest 718. Brunson is playing better than Drew. You wildin'. Yeah, you could say that, but where's Milwaukee now? One of the top 3 teams. It's not all because of Giannis. And I think the coaching comes to this voting with a different sensibility than we do as fans. I was watching NBA radio last night. I forgot his name. He used to do the fantasy show on NBA, on NBA TV. He's all about the stats. Oh, you got to put Siakam in because of the stats. You got to put Trae Young in because of the stats. But these teams, Kamala, these teams, the coaches, they're not looking at that. Who's helping the team win? Right? Milwaukee's top 3 team. Is Giannis doing this all by himself? Who's helping him? So, and then they also looking at the guy who's often overlooked. So the coaches come with a different sensibility than we do as fans. The Public Enemy number 1. If Drew or Halliburton doesn't play, Brunson deserves to be an all-star. Yeah, yeah. Now Halliburton's team, I think right now they're down to 10, I want to say. But at one point he was balling. They were in fifth place or sixth place until he got injured and they dropped like 7 or 8 straight. Paris Duggar, Randle shoulders a lot, so all praise is due. Salute, Adam. Appreciate you. Nick Yak, the hate was and is stupid. Almighty Finesse, Drew Holiday, mad underrated. Yeah, I think so. Congratulations, Randle, 2 times All-Star since he's been a Knick. Go Randle. No doubt. Congratulations. Mello and H2O, the other two. Jay Boogie, appreciate the super chat. Yes, sis, talk your talk. Please enlighten us. Learn when jewels are being dropped. It's easy when the pressure is not on you. When it's hot, don't cut on the AC. Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm happy. I'm happy with. I mean, come on. Look at this guy. Look at this guy from when he first came. When was the last time we had a 2-time All-Star? Mello. Then obvious Mello. Was it Allen Houston? Maybe that's what H2O was, Allen Houston. And Patrick Ewing? Well, as of late. I think if you get back to Clyde Drexler and whatever, but the last time. Since Patrick Ewing. Thank you, Jeff Clafter. The third 2-time All-Star for us since Ewing. The other two was Allen Houston and Mello. Yeah. All right. Cover the spread. Juju, All-Star 2 years out of 4 as a Knick. Very proud. Nick Yak, because Melo was better, what does that have to do with Rand? Absolutely. Anyway, all right. All right, family. All right. Right now, the Knicks are 7th in the Eastern Conference. They were 2 games behind Miami. They beat Miami. They picked up a full game. So now they're 1 game behind Miami and 1.5 games ahead of the Atlanta Hawks. The Knicks played Miami 4 times. This was just the one. It may come down to a tiebreaker, right? So these games with Miami are super important. Our next game is against the Clippers Saturday. I want to say 7 p.m. The Clippers are 29-26, 5th in the Western Conference, 6-4 over their last 10. They've lost their last game. Their offensive rating for the season is 23rd, but I started to include the last 10 games because sometimes you look at the entire season, you don't really get a sense of what they've been doing as of late. As of late, their offense is 3rd in the NBA. 121.5 points per 100 possessions, right? Their defense, 8th for the season, but just 21st over their last 10. So they're not defending great as of late. The Knicks, their offense, I'm telling you, the offense, don't worry about scoring. Aesthetically, you might get easier shots, moving all of that stuff. The Knicks are 9th for the season, 9th over the last 10. The Knicks have no problem scoring the basketball, none. Defense, 17th on the season, 28th. There's only 30 teams in the NBA. They are 28th, 8th out of 30 teams over the last 10 games in defense. Now, I'm just using defensive rating. If you look at opponent field goal percentage, opponent 3-point percentage, I believe the Knicks are still in the top 10. And I think that's what Tibb goes on. He doesn't really go by defensive rating. What are teams shooting against us? Overall, what are teams shooting against us from the 3-point line? And they're not shooting it looks like it. It looks like they're killing us from 3. But on average, the Knicks are top 10 and holding teams, in terms of field goal percentage defense, and top 10, I believe, in 3-point percentage defense. And I'm saying top 10 to be generous. They might even be top 5, right? All right, the projected lineups, hopefully Brunson is back. If so, it'll be Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randle, Sims. The last game for the Clippers, it was Terrence Mann, Paul George, Marcus Morris Sr., Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is actually small forward, Marcus Morris, power forward. And what is it, Avika Zubac? Yeah, that's who we're playing. next game. Tonight, 9 p.m. I know it's a Friday, 9 p.m. Might even be 9-ish. I'm taking my nieces to a show at the local junior high school at 7 p.m. So it might even be 9:30-ish. The Just Nicking It show. We'll talk about Randle. We'll talk about the Knicks. We'll talk about free agency. We'll talk about it all. Sunday, I'll be back for the morning recap of the Clipper show, Clipper game. Monday night, Queens Court, but Monday morning, I'll be doing a recap of that 76ers game. The Knicks are at home, right? We lost to the Lakers. We beat Miami. We got the Clippers coming up. We got the 76ers coming up. It's a tough, tough spread for the Knicks. All right, let me get some shout outs as I'm going out the building. Kerry Cox. I'm hearing Danny Ainge is a bit upset. His team doing much better than expected. Oh, God. There was an inbound play last night. Tibbs drew up 5 passes, great movement. iHeart blew the open layup. The offense will come around as Grimes and IQ continue to play. If Obi gives us quality, we good. Yeah, I agree as far as the bench. You know what we didn't talk about, and I'll talk about it as we get out of here, is the last few minutes of the game. The Knicks were mad raggedy last night. I mean, you thought that the Knicks had the ball, the game in hand, and Randle slipped. I mean, at first I thought, well, Grimes threw it a little bit over his head. Did he? Because on the replay, it didn't look like that. On the replay, it looked like it was a good pass. It came to Randle, and he slipped. He slipped. And now, a game which I thought, I don't know if I can ever say the game was in hand, because we would have, if on the foul, we would have needed to go to the free throw line to hit both of them to put it away. And that's always an adventure for the Knicks, right? We were close enough. And what happens? We turn the ball over and Miami gets the last second shot. Kudos to Julius Randle for the recognition that RJ got picked off and he would be late on that closeout, and for coming over and not fouling to put some pressure on that hero shot, right? And that's what I'm saying about both RJ Barrett and Randle. They have some boneheaded plays, but for the most part, though, they play really well. For the most part, if you take the positive and the negatives and you put them together, I think the positives far outweigh the negatives when it comes to Randle, and a little bit outweigh the negatives when it comes to RJ Barrett. Peter Rodriguez, I appreciate you for rocking with us. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please do so. Everybody hit that like button on your way out. Show your love. I wish the coach would, when we have a lead, keep the foot on the gas and not take the guys out. Let's bury them. Let's break their spirit, then substitute. I absolutely agree. But also the opposite as well. In that second quarter, the bench was terrible. I would have brought the starters back in. I just thought the bench was terrible. But, he's not the only one. Basically, he has his rotations. He feels it's not worth it. Sometimes he does do it. He'll leave a player in. He'll leave a group in a little bit longer to finish out what they started, to continue with the momentum. But not all the time. Not all the time. For me, personally, if a player is playing well or a group is playing well, leave them in there until the momentum drops and they start missing. But the opposite as well. If a group or team is not playing well, bring the starters back in early. That's what I felt in that second quarter. Nick Yak, appreciate you, Peter Rodriguez, for that point. Nick Yak, huge defensive play for Randle. It definitely was. For the love of the game, I appreciate you, Hardwell. Mark, the old foot trick. My heart when Tyler shot that shot. We need a bounce. Listen, this might be the best quote. Let me see if I could get to it. I got to go all the way back up to the top. Oh. Let me see if I could get to that. Yes. Jeff Clafter, I hope you have strong heart medication, Queen. This team is the #1 cause of heart failure in the tri-state area, Texas, where I'm at too. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. Shout out to Sean Kearns. Let me just give my shout outs out the door. Jeff Kafter, Geraldine McGyver, Kareem Grant, JJ, always rocking. With me, Cormega, I appreciate you. Jerrell, of course, Cover the Spread, appreciate you. Ally Wise. John, is that Bally? Appreciate you as well. King Ribby, I appreciate you. The coolest 718, Kerry Cox, appreciate you. David L. I think I got Ashley Inc. 1, Wiz, West Coast. Got a little more sleep this morning, Wiz. I appreciate you. Tony Spark, Building Blocks. I'm not going to get to everybody. What is that? Germ Warfare. I appreciate you. Almighty Finesse. I appreciate you. Jay Boogie, of course. I appreciate you. Everybody else. Parish Duggar, I appreciate you. We don't always agree, Parish, but I appreciate you. Adam, I appreciate you as well. Our communities, our children. D. Roz, I'm not going to get to everybody. I appreciate you. Hopefully, I'll see you tonight. Me, hopefully, Tsunami, Jerrell, Staffordar, and anybody else who wants to come on the show. I'm at bksteph33@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at bksteph33. As well, let me just hide this as well. And you could DM me. My envelope should be there. I think there was a little glitch, but my envelope should be there now. And I'll send you the link and you can come on the show. I appreciate you guys. Until next time.
Sister, you're one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.